I'm Jeremy Walston. I'm the principal investigator of the Johns Hopkins Older Americans Independence Center. Our center was founded in 2003 to study frailty and late life decline. As part of our Older Americans Independence Center, we developed a frailty assessment tool. It's become one of the more commonly used tools in research and in clinical practice. The tool itself consists of 5 components. We have a grip strength component, a walking speed component, a physical activity questionnaire, a weight loss component, and questions related to fatigue. Once the measurements are taken, the data is entered into the frailty assessment calculator. A number is then generated between 0 and 5, 0 being robust and 5 being frail. The numbers in between, people who score 1 and 2 are categorized as pre-frail. People who score 3, 4, and 5 are considered frail. Our frailty assessment tool has been used in a wide variety of research and clinical settings. First, in the research settings, we've used it to help identify people at high risk of adverse health outcomes. These include falls, fractures, hospitalizations, development of disability, and early mortality. More recently, it's been integrated into clinical research settings, and we've been working with subspecialists to identify patients who are at especially high risk of having adverse outcomes related to procedures and anesthesia. The overall purpose of the frailty assessment tool is to identify a vulnerable subset of older adults and help us differentiate between them and a more robust subset. We then can use this information to improve health outcomes and overall quality of life.
We are now going to begin with the first component of the frailty assessment tool. That will be measuring the patient's height and weight. Please ensure that the patient has removed their shoes and any extra heavy clothing that may skew your results. Ensure that your scale has been zeroed and have the patient step onto the scale to get a measurement. We have now generated a reading, and so we can move on to the height component. We are now going to move on to the height measurement component. In this measurement, you will need a stadiometer where you can measure your patient's height. Also, please ensure that the patient removes their shoes once again, and once they've reached 2 inches away from the wall, you'll have them stand as tall as possible. In order to get an accurate reading, please ensure your patient is standing as tall as possible. Also ensure that the patient's eyes are leveled with the top of their ear, and then you may get a reading. The next component of the frailty assessment tool is the exhaustion questionnaire. It is composed of 3 main questions. The first asks if the participant has been feeling unusually tired within the past month, and if so, how often. The second question asks if the participant has been feeling unusually weak during the past month, and if so, how often. And the last question asks the participant to use a 10-point scale to identify their energy level in the past month. The third component of the frailty assessment tool is the physical activity questionnaire. It is composed of 6 main questions. For each question, you will ask the participant if they have performed the particular activity within the past 2 weeks. If they have, you will ask how often and for how long each activity was performed. The fourth component of the frailty assessment tool is the grip strength test. You will need a dynamometer to measure the participant's maximum grip strength. You will also go through a brief series of questions to determine if the test is safe to perform and to identify the participant's dominant hand. We are now going to perform the actual measurement. You will need to have a dynamometer, which is the tool used to perform the grip strength test. To begin, please have your patient move all the way to the edge of their chair and ensure that their feet are completely flat on the ground. We're going to do 3 tests on each hand, so 3 for the right and 3 for the left. You want to ensure that your patient's arm is at a 90-degree angle when they're holding the dynamometer. The patient cannot rest the dynamometer onto their leg or hold it up in the air. It must remain at a 90-degree angle with the patient's body. So we're going to perform the test, and if at any point you feel pain or you feel that you do not want to proceed with the test, please do let me know. Ready, set, squeeze, 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 release. The dynamometer will give you a reading of the patient's strength. Please also let the patient know that when they are squeezing, the bars will not move, but the dynamometer will still produce a reading. The last component of the Frailty assessment tool is the walking speed test. For this test, you will need a 4-meter walking course and a stopwatch. To begin, have the participant stand at the starting mark and start timing as the participant walks the course at their usual pace. Timing will conclude once the participant has reached the end mark. Please perform this measurement twice to obtain an average walking speed.
We hope that this training video has been helpful in learning how to assess frailty using the Johns Hopkins Frailty Assessment Tool.